Today, Adidas have announced they are going to be dropping the rapper Kanye West after a controversial tweet where he said he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Now, I actually had to look up what DEFCON meant. Turns out DEFCON 1 is nuclear warfare, sort of active nuclear war, and then DEFCON 5 is nothing. DEFCON 3 is where you are slightly more ready than usual. So Kanye West has tweeted that he's going to be slightly more ready than usual on Jewish people. Regardless of what you think of Kanye's tweet, it has knocked about 10% of Adidas's share price, it would seem. So what I'm going to be talking about today is looking at this situation from the ice-cold lens of capitalism.
Ye's relationship with Adidas has been fractious for some time. In a now deleted Instagram post, he'd accused the German company of stealing his designs.
The question I want to answer is, I want to know, does this create an opportunity to buy Adidas shares cheap? Adidas is a really good business. They've got a lot of great shoes and a lot of customers. Does this create an opportunity to buy them cheap, or should we steer clear of this business until we understand what their revenue is without Kanye? Adidas, with full rights to Yeezy products, have said that they are going to continue selling these products, but under the Adidas brand, not the Yeezy brand. Adidas are currently making around 1 to 2 billion per year selling Yeezy products, and Kanye himself personally gets 220 million per year of that. How much is 2 billion? Well, 1 to 2 billion is roughly 10% of Adidas's current revenue. Now, although Adidas are going to continue selling Yeezy products for reasons I'm going to go into later in this video, I'm pretty concerned with Adidas's ability to actually sell them anywhere near as well as they were selling them last year. In fact, this move kind of reminds me of the time where Coca-Cola changed their classic flavor to keep up with Pepsi's brand campaign. Basically, everyone started pouring Coca-Cola down the street. It was terrible for their brand image. And then eventually Coca-Cola had to change back to their original flavour in order to get their original customers back. The difference for Coca-Cola was, though, that they didn't change their flavour because they thought their last flavour was anti-Semitic. Now, as I've said, Yeezy will still be sold under the Adidas brand, but this issue highlights one of the main issues for fashion brands for me that have an over-dependence on celebrities to carry their brand image. Tying a portion of your business to a celebrity and making that business entirely dependent on that celebrity's image means it's incredibly difficult when that celebrity starts making mistakes that don't represent your brand. And kind of what's worse about this also is you are also responsible for their past mistakes these days. So not just the mistakes they made today, but the mistakes that they might have made years and years ago. And speaking of mistakes made years and years ago, I typically like to do a look at how businesses were founded. So let's take a look at how Adidas was founded. Okay, got the iPad and I've just searched how was Adidas founded. And the company was founded by Adolf Dassler in Germany in 1924. His older brother, Rudolf, joined the business, which became the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory. And so, Germany 1924. Both Dassler brothers joined the Nazi Party in May 1993. So at a glance, it would kind of appear that Kanye is the perfect ambassador for the Adidas brand. However, it's potentially because of this history that Adidas are taking these tweets from Kanye so seriously. I would assume that is why Adidas really want to distance themselves from anything remotely anti-Semitic. By the way, I'm not saying that all brands shouldn't do this. I'm just saying that most brands don't give up 1 to 2 billion in revenue based on one tweet. The issue I think Adidas have here as a business from a valuation point of view is, although they won't have Yeezy's name on the products anymore, they're still incredibly iconic products that are clearly designed by Kanye. And so any consumer that is wanting to distance themselves from Kanye is not going to be buying Yeezy products. And then on top of that, any consumer that supports Kanye likely won't want to buy from Adidas. So it would seem that this move would distance Adidas from both consumers that are in favour of this decision and not in favour of this decision. This Yeezy brand as well has been an enormous part of bolstering Adidas's revenue. Its return on invested capital was slowly dipping towards 2015, and Kanye boomed its return on invested capital to around 20% in that time period. It really is an amazing accomplishment. Like, the brand power behind Yeezy is actually incredible. It's hard to say what that brand power is worth now, but it's got to be said that Kanye's Yeezy brand definitely helped massively boost Adidas's revenue during 2015 to 2022. It's hard to see how Adidas, a company in perhaps the most brand-focused industry second to soft drinks, is going to perform, given that it's managed to alienate both Kanye fans and Kanye haters from its product. Nike, Adidas's biggest competition, has a much higher return on invested capital and therefore an even better compound annual growth rate. So even though it's got a higher price to earnings, I would be willing to pay that price given the fact that my growth is guaranteed. If you want to understand the impact of compound annual growth rate versus free cash flow and price to earnings, I have a link at the end of this video where I show how to measure this growth using bacon rolls. So at the moment for Adidas, I don't see a significant price reduction when compared to industry competitors like Nike. I think if I wanted to buy Adidas now, I'd be looking for something like 10 billion for it to be seen as a real bargain. Unless, of course, something changes.
Our boss is the consumer. Some critics will say Coca-Cola has made a marketing mistake. And some cynics say that we planned the whole thing. The truth is, we're not that dumb and we're not that smart.